With me now, Michigan Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, who is also senior whip and co-chair of the House Democratic Policy Communications Committee. So Congresswoman Dingell, nice to have you back. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be with you.
You have a big day ahead of you in 48 hours. You'll be voting. Have you decided?
You know, I'm like Alyssa, and many of my other colleagues have been very thoughtful. I've done everything that Alyssa has done, and even pulled out my Federalist Papers. And, you know, I'm really disturbed by what's happening in this country, about how divided we are. But from the very moment that President Trump appointed Inspector General, said there was a credible threat to our national security and it was urgent, I've been disturbed. And I think that when a president uses his office for his own private, personal, political gain, that's disturbing. And secondly, there clearly has been an obstruction of Congress, even as I'm listening to the show and hearing the debate in the Senate about whether witnesses should appear before the Senate. If there was nothing to hide, then why did he tell his staff not to appear before the House? And we do, when you go through and you read our Constitution, there are clearly three equal branches of government. And we are not respecting the roles and the oversight responsibilities of the Congress.
So if I'm hearing you through all of your, frustration and rereading of our nation's most historic, most important papers, you are a yes on abuse of power and obstruction of
yet.
Congress.
I haven't announced what I'm going to do. I don't view this as I'm somebody who views this as a very moral decision tied to the oath of office that I took. And if we don't step up and allow this kind of things to happen, what does that mean? But if you think I'm not worried about how divided this country is, that I know Russia is deliberately not only trying to divide our country, but other democracies around the world, they're trying to destabilize governments, that weighs on me. And I think we all need to be talking about that as well. I wish this wasn't such a...
So you're not saying yet. It sounds like you're keeping this to yourself.
I'm not telling anybody what I'm doing.
Not
You'll
telling
see
everyone
how
what
I
you...
vote.
Well, okay. I'll let you off the hook for now on that, because it is a huge decision.
Hey, listen,
and it's happening.
The president tweeted against me this week, and if you don't think that I haven't heard from haters around this country.
I wanted to ask you about that, about walking and chewing gum at the same time. That was quite a retort, Congresswoman Dingell. I mean, you were on TV. Let me back up for people watching. So you were on TV a couple times this weekend, and then when you happened to be, I think it was over on Fox, right, the channel that the president does tend to watch.
I actually think it was MSNBC.
You think it was actually?
I do, because of the timing.
So what was it you think? Was it when you were talking about how the White House had chosen to block the key witnesses from testifying, that he then tweeted you back and invoked your late husband? What was it?
First of all, I got to tell you, my husband earned those honors, and he hit me. I'm having a hard time. I miss him. And you wonder what he'd be tweeting right now, to tell you the truth. But I don't know what, I've talked to several people who've looked at that interview, people that you know from your own cable station, and they're like, you were really measured. I've been measured in this from the beginning. When people were after me this summer, Tom Steyer bought 40 ads, MoveOn.org, I was, hey, we got to work with this president when we can, and you got to have clear grounds before you take such a significant move. But when a President Trump appointed Inspector General says there's a potential threat to our national security, you've got to listen. You've got a responsibility to pay attention. That's what I took the oath of office for. It is not a political decision. And I said that on MSNBC. They don't put your finger in the air and say, what do people think? You have to do what is right for this country to protect our Constitution and our democracy. And I take that very seriously. This is, I think, the hardest moment I will have in my service, however long that may be. This is about our country and our democracy.
And that's your point. I presume that was your point about we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Your retort back to the president.
And
yeah.
By the way, I have said from the very moment that he was elected, I will work with him. And I have worked with him on the trade deal, opioid drugs, many other things that matter to the people in my district. We need to be doing that. But I also have a responsibility to make sure we are protecting our national security and our democracy.
And his mentioning your husband, the longest serving member of Congress in the United States, what did that feel like?
It really felt awful. You want to know the truth? I've already missing him. And it just, my husband served in World War II. He loved this country. And it was, I didn't want his funeral to become political. I was very grateful for his call. He really did care about my loss. And so it really hurt. To say to you that that didn't shake me and didn't bother me would be a lie.